Hello, and welcome to Sleepy Science by Vita. Whether you're listening at the end of a long day or simply letting your thoughts slow down, this is a place where curiosity unfolds gently. There's nothing you need to solve, nothing you need to remember, and nothing you need to focus on. If you find your attention drifting, that's perfectly fine. Let the words become a soft background, and let your body settle into rest. Allow your breathing to soften, slow down, and become quiet, steady, and easy. I'm glad you're here. The universe began marking time before anyone was there to notice. Light moved through emptiness at a steady pace. Particles drifted and collided, and even in the silence of space without sound or observers, things happened in sequence. One moment led to another. This is perhaps the simplest way to understand time. Events follow one another. A rock falls, water flows, a star ignites. Each of these happens not all at once, but in an order that cannot be reversed. On Earth, time became visible in patterns. The sun rose and set with such regularity that early humans could count on it. They watched the moon change shape across the sky, cycling from darkness to fullness and back again. These patterns gave structure to existence: when to sleep, when to wake, when to plant seeds, when to harvest. The turning of the planet created day and night, and the tilt of its axis as it orbited the sun created seasons. Time was not an abstraction then. It was the rhythm of survival. The human body learned to follow these rhythms without conscious thought. Deep within the brain, a small cluster of cells in the hypothalamus acts as a biological clock. This suprachiasmatic nucleus receives information about light from the eyes and coordinates the body's daily patterns. When morning light enters the eye, signals travel along the optic nerve to this tiny timekeeper, which then sends messages throughout the body. Cortisol levels rise. Body temperature begins to increase. The feeling of alertness grows. As evening approaches and light fades, different signals emerge. The pineal gland releases melatonin, a hormone that encourages sleep. This happens every day, with or without clocks, driven by the presence and absence of light. Before humans invented ways to measure time precisely, they observed the world around them. Trees grew in predictable ways, adding a ring of new wood each year. These rings are wider in years with abundant water and narrower in drought. A cross-section of an old tree trunk shows hundreds of concentric circles, each one a record of a year that passed. By counting these rings, we can know how old a tree was when it fell. By measuring their width, we can know what the weather was like decades or centuries ago. The tree didn't keep time intentionally. It simply responded to the seasons, and in doing so, created a record. Ice does something similar in places where winter snow falls year after year without fully melting. In Antarctica and Greenland, snow accumulates in layers. Each winter's snowfall sits atop the previous year's, compressed over time into ice. Scientists drill deep into these ice sheets and pull up long cores. Like tree rings, ice cores show layers, and each layer represents 1 year. Trapped within the ice are tiny bubbles of ancient air, preserving the atmosphere as it was when that snow fell. By analyzing these bubbles, researchers can measure the composition of air from hundreds of thousands of years ago. The ice remembers. It holds time in its frozen layers. Rivers also measure time, though in a different way. Water flowing downhill carries sediment, tiny particles of rock and soil. When a river slows, perhaps as it enters a lake or ocean, it drops this sediment. Heavier particles settle first, then lighter ones. Season after season, these particles build up in thin layers on the bottom. Over thousands of years, the weight of accumulating sediment compresses the lower layers into rock. Geologists call these sedimentary rocks, and they can read the layers like pages in a book. Each stripe of color or texture represents a different period, a different set of conditions. Time becomes visible as stone. The Grand Canyon reveals this layered history dramatically. The Colorado River carved through nearly 2 billion years of rock, exposing layer upon layer of ancient sediment. At the bottom lie some of the oldest rocks on Earth's surface, dark and crystalline, formed deep underground when the planet was young. Above these sit layers of sandstone, limestone, and shale, each telling a story of ancient seas, deserts, and river deltas. Walking down into the canyon is like descending through time. The rocks at the rim formed relatively recently, only a few 100 million years ago. The rocks at the bottom date back almost half the age of the Earth itself. The river didn't intend to create a timeline. It simply flowed, cutting deeper year after year, and exposed what was already there. Erosion happens slowly, usually too slowly to notice. A mountain doesn't visibly shrink in a human lifetime. But given enough time, mountains that once stood as tall as the Himalayas can be worn down to gentle hills. The Appalachian Mountains in eastern North America are ancient, formed hundreds of millions of years ago. They were once much taller, but wind, rain, ice, and flowing water have been grinding them down ever since. Each rainstorm carries away a tiny amount of rock. Each freeze and thaw splits stones a little more. Bit by bit, the mountains diminish. The process is so gradual that it's invisible from one generation to the next. Yet over geological time, it reshapes continents. Glaciers also reshape the land, but they do so in ways that can leave clear marks. When a glacier advances, it scrapes across bedrock like sandpaper, carving deep valleys with steep sides and flat bottoms. When it retreats, it leaves behind piles of rock and gravel that it carried. These moraines mark where the glacier's edge once stood. By mapping moraines, geologists can trace the growth and shrinkage of ice sheets over thousands of years. They can see the rhythm of ice ages, periods when glaciers expanded far beyond their current limits, and warmer intervals when they melted back. This rhythm operates on time scales much longer than seasons, driven by subtle changes in Earth's orbit and tilt. The planet wobbles slightly as it spins, and these wobbles alter how much sunlight different regions receive. Over tens of thousands of years, these orbital variations nudge the climate between colder and warmer states. Ice advances and retreats, advancing and retreating, marking time on a scale almost incomprehensible to creatures whose lives last only decades. Yet even within a human lifetime, time reveals itself in countless small ways. Faces change. Skin that was once smooth develops lines. Hair that was dark turns gray, then white. Bones that were dense become more fragile. These changes don't happen overnight. They accumulate day by day, invisible in the moment, but undeniable over years. A photograph from childhood shows a person who is both the same and entirely different from the one who looks at it decades later. The cells in the body have been replaced many times over. The atoms that make up those cells have been exchanged with the environment through breathing, eating, and drinking. Yet continuity persists. Memory links the child in the photograph to the adult holding it. Time passes through the body, changing it, but leaving identity somehow intact. Cells have their own sense of time. Each type of cell has a rhythm, a cycle of growth, division, and sometimes death. Skin cells turn over relatively quickly, replacing themselves every few weeks. Red blood cells circulate for about 4 months before they wear out and are recycled. Neurons, the cells of the brain, mostly don't divide after early development. They persist, maintaining the same structures for years, even decades. This longevity is part of why memories can last. The connections between neurons, the synapses where signals pass from one cell to another, can strengthen or weaken based on experience. A memory is not stored in a single place, but distributed across a network of neurons. When you recall something, you're reactivating a pattern of neural activity that was created in the past. Time is encoded in the structure of the brain itself. Sleep is one of the most immediate ways the body tracks time. The need for sleep builds gradually across the day. The longer you stay awake, the stronger the pressure to sleep becomes. This happens because of a molecule called adenosine, which accumulates in the brain during waking hours. Adenosine is a byproduct of cellular energy use. As neurons work, they consume energy, and adenosine levels rise. When adenosine binds to certain receptors in the brain, it promotes sleepiness. During sleep, adenosine is cleared away, and the pressure to sleep diminishes. This cycle repeats every day, creating a rhythm that feels internal, but is shaped by both biology and behavior. Caffeine works by blocking adenosine receptors, temporarily masking the feeling of sleepiness without actually reducing the buildup of adenosine. Eventually, the need for sleep becomes overwhelming regardless. Dreams have their own relationship with time. A dream that feels like it lasts for hours might occur in just a few minutes of real time. The brain, freed from the constraints of processing external reality, generates experiences that don't follow ordinary rules. Events in dreams can jump forward or backward without transition. People and places from different periods of life can appear together. The dreaming brain is not trying to keep accurate time. It's doing something else, sorting through memories, processing emotions, making connections that might not be obvious during waking thought. The exact purpose of dreams remains uncertain, but their existence shows that the mind's experience of time is flexible, not fixed. Even during waking hours, the perception of time can stretch or compress. When engaged in an absorbing task, hours can pass without notice. When bored or waiting, minutes can feel endless. This subjectivity is real. The brain constructs the experience of time based on how much it has to process. Novel situations, where everything is new and attention is high, tend to feel longer in retrospect because the brain encodes more details. Familiar routines, where little changes from day to day leave fewer distinct memories and thus feel shorter when looking back. A childhood summer could feel like an eternity because everything was new. A week in adulthood, following the same patterns, can disappear almost without trace. Clocks were invented to make time objective, to create a shared reference that everyone could agree on. Early clocks were simple. Water clocks measured time by the steady drip of water from one container to another. Sundials used the shadow cast by the sun to mark hours. These devices were useful but imprecise. The invention of mechanical clocks, driven by gears and weights, allowed for much greater accuracy. By the medieval period, clocks with hour hands appeared in town squares across Europe. Later came minute hands, and eventually second hands. Time was divided into smaller and smaller increments, each one measurable and repeatable. The second, as a unit of time, was originally defined as a fraction of a day. There are 24 hours in a day, 60 minutes in an hour, and 60 seconds in a minute, which means there are 86,400 seconds in a day. This division is arbitrary, inherited from ancient Babylonian mathematics, which favored the number 60. In the modern era, scientists wanted a more precise and universal definition. They chose to define the second based on the behavior of atoms. A cesium atom, when exposed to microwave radiation of a specific frequency, will transition between two energy states. This transition happens at an extraordinarily consistent rate. 1 second is now defined as the time it takes for a cesium atom to oscillate exactly 9,192,631,770 times. Atomic clocks, which count these oscillations, are accurate to within a few billionths of a second per day. They provide the foundation for global positioning systems, telecommunications, and scientific experiments that require extreme precision. Light also measures time in its own way. Light travels at a finite speed, about 300,000 kilometers per second in a vacuum. This means that light from distant objects takes time to reach us. When you look at the sun, you're seeing it as it was about 8 minutes ago, because that's how long it takes light to travel from the sun to Earth. The nearest star beyond the sun, Proxima Centauri, is about 4 light years away. Its light takes 4 years to reach us, so we see it as it was 4 years in the past. The farther out we look, the further back in time we see. The Andromeda Galaxy, the nearest large galaxy to our own, is about 2.5 million light years away. The light we see from it tonight left that galaxy 2.5 million years ago, when early human ancestors were just beginning to walk upright on Earth. Telescopes are, in a sense, time machines. They allow us to observe the universe as it was, not as it is. The most distant galaxies ever observed are more than 13 billion light years away. The light from these galaxies has been traveling through space for most of the age of the universe. When we look at them, we're seeing what the universe looked like when it was young, less than 1 billion years after the Big Bang. These galaxies appear small and irregular, not yet settled into the grand spirals and ellipses we see in the nearby universe. Stars were forming at prodigious rates, and the first heavy elements were being forged in the cores of massive stars. All of this happened long ago, but the light is only reaching us now. The Big Bang itself marks the beginning of time as we understand it. About 13.8 billion years ago, the universe began from an incredibly hot, dense state and has been expanding ever since. In the first fraction of a second, the universe was far too hot for atoms to exist. There were only fundamental particles and radiation, all in a chaotic, high-energy soup. As the universe expanded, it cooled. After a few minutes, conditions became calm enough for protons and neutrons to stick together, forming the nuclei of the lightest elements, hydrogen and helium. After about 380,000 years, the universe cooled enough for electrons to combine with these nuclei, forming the first neutral atoms. At this moment, light could travel freely through space for the first time. The universe became transparent. The light from this era still fills the universe today, stretched by expansion into microwave radiation. This is the cosmic microwave background, a faint glow that comes from all directions, a relic of the early universe. The formation of stars took longer. Gravity pulled hydrogen and helium together into clumps. These clumps grew denser and hotter until, in their cores, nuclear fusion began. Hydrogen atoms fused into helium, releasing energy. The first stars lit up the universe, ending what astronomers call the cosmic dark ages. These early stars were massive and short-lived. They burned through their fuel quickly and exploded as supernovae, scattering heavier elements into space. These elements, carbon, oxygen, iron, and others, became the raw material for later generations of stars and planets. Our sun, is one of these later stars, formed about 4.5 billion years ago from a cloud of gas and dust that contained the remnants of earlier stars. The Earth and other planets formed around the same time from the same cloud. Everything on Earth, including the atoms in your body, was forged in stars that died before the sun was born. Rocks on Earth remember this history. The oldest rocks found on Earth's surface are about 4 billion years old. They are rare, small fragments that have survived eons of geological activity. Most of Earth's original crust has been recycled by plate tectonics, the slow movement of the planet's outer layer. New crust forms at mid-ocean ridges, where molten rock rises from below. Old crust sinks back into the mantle at subduction zones, where one tectonic plate slides beneath another. This recycling happens over millions of years, constantly renewing the surface. Because of this, finding very old rocks is difficult. The Earth doesn't preserve its earliest history the way the Moon does. The Moon, geologically dead, still has craters from impacts that occurred billions of years ago. Its surface is a record of the violent early solar system, when debris left over from planet formation collided with everything in its path. Meteorites also carry information about the early solar system. These chunks of rock and metal are fragments of asteroids, small bodies that never coalesced into planets. Some meteorites are as old as the solar system itself, preserving material from the original cloud of gas and dust. By studying the isotopes in meteorites, scientists can determine their age with remarkable precision. Certain isotopes decay at known rates, turning into different elements over time. By measuring the ratio of parent-to-daughter isotopes, researchers can calculate how long ago the rock formed. This technique, called radiometric dating, works for rocks on Earth as well. It's how we know the age of the oldest terrestrial rocks, and how we know the Earth itself is about 4.5 billion years old. Fossils offer another window into deep time. When a living organism dies, it usually decays completely, leaving nothing behind. But occasionally, under the right conditions, it can be preserved. If buried quickly by sediment, protected from scavengers and oxygen, the organic material may be replaced by minerals over time, creating a fossil. Fossils are rare. Only a tiny fraction of organisms that ever lived became fossils, and only a fraction of fossils are ever found. Yet even this incomplete record reveals an astonishing history. The oldest fossils are simple, single-celled organisms that lived more than 3.5 billion years ago. For most of Earth's history, life was microscopic. Complex, multicellular life didn't appear until about 600 million years ago. Dinosaurs, which seem ancient to us, lived much more recently, from about 230 million to 66 million years ago. Humans, in the form we would recognize, have existed for only a few 100,000 years. On the timescale of Earth's history, we are extraordinarily recent arrivals. Evolution operates on timescales that dwarf individual lifetimes. A single generation might see no visible change, yet over thousands or millions of generations, species transform. This happens through natural selection, the process by which individuals with traits that help them survive and reproduce pass those traits to their offspring. Mutations, random changes in DNA, introduce variation. Most mutations are neutral or harmful, but occasionally one proves beneficial. Over time, beneficial mutations become more common in the population. This is how wings evolved, how eyes developed, how the incredible diversity of life on Earth came to be. The process is gradual, but given enough time, it can produce results that seem almost miraculous. DNA itself is a kind of molecular clock. All living things carry DNA, a molecule that stores genetic information. DNA is made of long chains of nucleotides, the building blocks of genetic code. Occasionally, errors occur when DNA is copied, leading to mutations. These mutations accumulate over time at a roughly steady rate. By comparing the DNA of different species, scientists can estimate how long ago they shared a common ancestor. Species with very similar DNA diverged relatively recently. Species with more differences diverged longer ago. This molecular clock isn't perfect, but it provides an independent way to estimate evolutionary timescales, one that complements the fossil record. The human body contains traces of evolutionary history. Tailbones, for instance, are remnants of tails our distant ancestors once had. Wisdom teeth are leftovers from a time when human jaws were larger and needed extra molars to grind tough plant material. The way human embryos develop also reflects evolution. Early in development, human embryos have structures that resemble gills, a reminder that our ancestors were once fish. These structures later develop into other parts of the body, but their presence shows that evolution doesn't start from scratch. It modifies what already exists, building on ancient templates. Even the way we measure time reflects layers of history. The 7-day week has no astronomical basis. It doesn't correspond to the phases of the moon or the orbit of the Earth. It's a cultural artifact, likely originating in ancient Mesopotamia and later adopted by Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. The names of the days in English come from a mix of sources. Sunday and Monday reference the sun and moon. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are named after Norse gods: Tyr, Woden, Thor, and Frigg. Saturday comes from Saturn, the Roman god. These names carry echoes of ancient beliefs, passed down through centuries, embedded in something as ordinary as the calendar. Months are based on the moon, or at least they once were. The word month comes from moon. A lunar month, the time it takes the moon to go through all its phases, is about 29 and a half days. 12 lunar months add up to about 354 days, shorter than a solar year. Ancient calendars struggled with this mismatch. Some cultures added extra months periodically to keep the calendar aligned with the seasons. The modern calendar, the Gregorian calendar, is a solar calendar. Its months no longer match the phases of the moon, but it keeps the year synchronized with the seasons by having 365 days, with an extra day added every 4 years in leap years. This system isn't perfect either, but it's close enough for practical purposes. The concept of the year itself comes from the time it takes Earth to orbit the Sun. This is a natural cycle, one that ancient peoples could observe through the changing seasons. The equinoxes, when day and night are nearly equal in length, and the solstices, when the sun reaches its highest or lowest point in the sky, mark key points in this cycle. Many ancient monuments align with these solar events. Stonehenge, the prehistoric stone circle in England, is oriented so that the rising sun on the summer solstice shines directly into the center. Thousands of years ago, people gathered there to mark the longest day of the year. They didn't understand the mechanics of Earth's orbit, but they understood the pattern, and they honored it. Patterns give structure to time, making it feel less like a featureless flow and more like something with shape. Rituals, holidays, and anniversaries create markers, points of reference that help organize memory. A birthday is a personal marker, a reminder of another year past. Cultural holidays mark the seasons or commemorate historical events. These patterns are human creations, but they serve a purpose. They help us orient ourselves in time, to feel that we're not just drifting, but moving through a landscape with recognizable features. Music also plays with time. A piece of music exists in time, unfolding moment by moment. Rhythm gives it structure, patterns of beats that repeat and vary. A fast tempo creates a sense of urgency or excitement. A slow tempo feels more relaxed, contemplative. Silence, pauses in the music, can be just as important as sound. They create space, give the listener time to absorb what came before. Music can manipulate the perception of time. A piece that lasts 5 minutes can feel much longer or shorter, depending on its structure and emotional content. Composers use this to guide the listener's experience, expanding and contracting subjective time through sound. Narrative also structures time. A story has a beginning, middle, and end, but it doesn't have to present events in chronological order. Flashbacks interrupt the present to show the past. Flash forwards hint at the future. Some stories play with time more radically, looping back on themselves or presenting multiple timelines simultaneously. These techniques work because the human mind is flexible. We can hold multiple timescales in our heads at once, shifting between them as the story requires. Memory already works this way. When you recall an event, you don't experience it in real time. You compress it, Skip over the boring parts. Focus on what mattered. A memory is a story you tell yourself about the past, edited and shaped by the act of remembering. Language itself is tied to time. Verbs have tenses: past, present, future. We talk about things that happened, things that are happening, and things that will happen. Not all languages handle time the same way. Some have more complex tense systems, with different forms for recent past versus distant past, or completed actions versus ongoing ones. Some languages have less emphasis on tense, conveying time through context rather than verb forms. The way a language structures time can influence how its speakers think about time, though this influence is subtle, not deterministic. Language is a tool for thinking, and like any tool, it shapes the work it's used for. Writing extended our relationship with time in a profound way. Before writing, knowledge could only be passed down through speech, from person to person, generation to generation. This method is powerful but fragile. Stories change as they're retold. Details are forgotten. Entire traditions can vanish if not actively maintained. Writing allowed information to persist independently of human memory. A text written thousands of years ago can still be read today if it survives. The Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the oldest known works of literature, was written in cuneiform on clay tablets in ancient Mesopotamia. Those tablets sat buried for millennia until archaeologists uncovered them. Now we can read the same stories that people told each other more than 4,000 years ago. Writing defeats time in a limited way. It allows the past to speak to the present. Photography and film took this further. Before photography, the only way to capture a person's appearance was through painting or sculpture, which required skill and interpretation. A photograph, by contrast, captures a moment objectively. It freezes a fraction of a second, preserving light as it was in that instant. Looking at an old photograph is strange. The people in it might be long dead, yet they appear alive, frozen in time. Film adds motion, bringing the past to life in a more vivid way. Footage from a century ago shows people moving, gesturing, living their lives, unaware that their images would be watched by strangers long after they were gone. Sound recording does something similar for audio. The earliest sound recordings, made on wax cylinders in the late 19th century, are fragile and poor in quality, but they allow us to hear voices from more than 100 years ago. Hearing a person's voice creates a sense of presence that written words don't quite capture. Tone, accent, rhythm, all the qualities of speech that convey personality are preserved. These recordings are ghosts, echoes of people who lived in a world very different from ours. Yet their voices reach across time. Technology accelerates the pace of change. For most of human history, life changed slowly from one generation to the next. A person in medieval Europe would have lived much the same way as their great-grandparents. The tools, the work, the social structures, all were relatively stable. The Industrial Revolution disrupted this stability. Machines began to do work that had always been done by hand. Factories appeared. Cities grew rapidly as people moved from farms to find work. In the span of a single lifetime, the world could transform in ways that would have been unimaginable to earlier generations. This acceleration has continued. The 20th century saw more technological change than all previous centuries combined. Computers, the internet, smartphones, all appeared within the span of a few decades. The pace of change is now so fast that it can be disorienting. Skills that were valuable a decade ago might be obsolete today. The future is uncertain in a way it wasn't for most of human history. Yet some things remain constant. The sun still rises and sets. The seasons still turn. The human body still ages at the same rate it always has. A year is still a year, measured by Earth's orbit. The fundamental rhythms of existence continue, even as the surface of life changes. This tension between change and continuity is part of the experience of living in time. We are embedded in ancient patterns, biological and astronomical, yet also caught up in rapid cultural and technological shifts. Aging is perhaps the most personal encounter with time. It happens to everyone who lives long enough, gradually and then suddenly. A person might feel young in their mind, only to be reminded by their body that time has passed. Joints ache, vision blurs, energy wanes. These changes are not failures. They are the body's natural response to time. Cells accumulate damage over years. DNA gets copied with small errors. Proteins misfold. The systems that repair this damage become less efficient. Aging is the slow accumulation of these imperfections, the gradual decline in the body's ability to maintain itself. Some species age much faster than humans. Mice live only a few years. Some tortoises live well over 100. The rate of aging is not fixed. It's determined by biology, shaped by evolution. Species that face high predation tend to age quickly, reproducing young and dying early. Species with fewer threats can afford to age slowly, investing in long lives. Humans fall somewhere in the middle. Though our technology and medicine have extended lifespans far beyond what was typical for most of our evolutionary history. Death is the ultimate boundary of personal time. Every living thing dies eventually. Cells die. Organisms die. Even stars die. Though on timescales so long they seem eternal to us. The sun, for instance, will continue burning for another 5 billion years before it exhausts its hydrogen fuel. When that happens, it will swell into a red giant, engulfing the inner planets, possibly including Earth. Eventually, it will shed its outer layers and collapse into a white dwarf, a dense, cooling remnant that will slowly fade over trillions of years. By then, the sun will no longer provide light or warmth. It will be a cold, dark cinder, orbited by whatever remains of its planetary system. This fate is distant beyond comprehension, but it is inevitable. Nothing lasts forever. Even black holes, the densest objects in the universe, are not eternal. Stephen Hawking showed that black holes slowly evaporate through a process now called Hawking radiation. They emit faint radiation and lose mass over time. For a black hole the mass of the Sun, this process would take an unimaginably long time, far longer than the current age of the universe. But given enough time, even the largest black holes will evaporate completely, leaving nothing but a faint glow of radiation. The universe itself may be finite in duration. Current evidence suggests it will continue expanding forever, growing colder and more diffuse. Stars will eventually stop forming as gas runs out. Existing stars will burn out. Galaxies will go dark. After an incomprehensibly long time, even matter itself might decay, if current theories are correct. The universe could end in a state called heat death, where everything is spread so thin and so cold that no structure remains, no energy flows, no change occurs. Time, in a meaningful sense, would cease because there would be nothing left to change. But these distant futures are so far removed from human experience that they feel abstract, almost fictional. The time we live in, the time that matters to us, is measured in days and years, not eons. We experience time through the rhythms of our own lives, waking and sleeping, hunger and satiety, work and rest. These cycles ground us. They give time a texture, a feeling. Time is not just an abstract dimension measured by clocks. It's lived, felt, remembered. Memory is imperfect. It doesn't record experience the way a camera records images. Instead, it reconstructs the past each time we recall it. Every time you remember something, you're not accessing a fixed record. You're rebuilding the memory from fragments, and in the process, you might change it slightly. Details can be added or lost. Emotions can color the memory, making it seem better or worse than it was. This malleability means that our personal history is always being rewritten, subtly, each time we think about it. The past we remember is not quite the past as it happened. It's a version of the past, shaped by who we are now. This is why nostalgia can be so powerful and so misleading. We tend to remember the good parts of the past and forget the difficulties. A childhood summer, remembered decades later, might seem idyllic, even if it contained boredom, frustration, or pain at the time. The brain softens the hard edges, leaving behind a pleasant glow. This is not dishonesty. It's how memory works. The brain prioritizes emotional significance over factual accuracy. A moment that felt important at the time is more likely to be remembered, and it will be remembered in a way that reflects its emotional weight. The present moment, the now, is strangely hard to pin down. By the time you've noticed something, it's already in the past. The signals from your senses take time to reach your brain and be processed. When you see an object, the light from it has already traveled to your eye, been converted to electrical signals, and processed through multiple stages of the visual system before you become conscious of it. This all happens very quickly, but it's not instantaneous. The present you experience is actually a very recent past, a fraction of a second old. Your brain smooths over this delay, creating the illusion of a seamless, immediate present. It also anticipates, making predictions about what will happen next based on past experience. This is why you can catch a ball. Your brain predicts where the ball will be, and you move your hand to that location. Consciousness lags slightly behind reality, yet we navigate the world effectively because the brain is constantly forecasting the immediate future. Prediction is essential to survival. An animal that can anticipate where prey will move or where a predator might strike has an advantage. Humans have taken this ability to an extreme. We don't just predict the next few seconds. We imagine distant futures. We plan for tomorrow, for next year, for decades ahead. We set goals, make commitments, build structures that will outlast us. This ability to mentally project ourselves into the future is one of the defining features of human cognition. It's also a source of anxiety. Worrying about the future is a form of mental time travel, and it can be consuming. The future doesn't exist yet, but we treat it as if it does. Running through scenarios, trying to prepare for outcomes that may never happen. Children have a different relationship with time. For a young child, the future is vague, and the past is short. Their sense of time expands as they grow. A year to a 5-year-old is a fifth of their entire life. To a 50-year-old, a year is only a 50th. This proportional difference might explain why time seems to speed up as we age. Each year becomes a smaller fraction of the total life lived, and so it feels shorter in retrospect. Childhood summers felt endless because they were a significant portion of the child's entire remembered experience. An adult summer, one of many, blends into the flow of years. Waiting is one of the most visceral experiences of time. When waiting for something anticipated, time can seem to slow to a crawl. Minutes stretch. Boredom sets in. The mind searches for distractions but finds none satisfying. This happens because attention magnifies time. When focused on the passage of time itself, each moment is noticed, and the accumulation of moments feels long. Conversely, when absorbed in an activity, attention is directed elsewhere, and time passes unnoticed. This is why engaging work or play can make hours disappear. The brain is busy, processing information, solving problems, and has no resources left to monitor the clock. Boredom has a purpose, even though it's unpleasant. It signals that the current activity is not engaging, prompting the mind to seek something more stimulating. In an environment with constant novelty and stimulation, boredom might seem obsolete, but it's not. The capacity to tolerate boredom, to sit with it without immediate distraction, allows for reflection and creativity. Some of the best ideas emerge not during focused work, but during idle moments, when the mind is free to wander. Daydreaming is a form of mental time travel. The mind drifts away from the present, exploring memories or imagining possibilities. This might seem like a waste of time, but it serves a function. It helps consolidate memories, rehearse social interactions, and plan for the future. Cultures vary in how they think about time. Some cultures emphasize punctuality and schedules, treating time as a resource to be managed. Others have a more flexible approach, where relationships and context matter more than the clock. Neither is inherently better. They reflect different priorities and ways of organizing life. In industrialized societies, time is often commodified. People are paid by the hour. Deadlines structure work. Efficiency is valued. This creates a pressure to use time productively to avoid wasting it. In other contexts, time is more communal, less rigidly divided. Events happen when people are ready, not according to a fixed schedule. This can seem inefficient from an industrial perspective, but it prioritizes human connection over mechanical precision. The invention of the railway made punctuality more important. Before trains, travel was slow and schedules were loose. If a stagecoach arrived an hour late, it didn't matter much. But trains ran on fixed schedules and connected distant cities. If a train left at 10 in the morning, it left at 10, not when everyone happened to be ready. This required synchronized clocks so that everyone agreed on what time it was. Before this, each town might set its clocks by local noon when the sun was highest. This meant that noon in one town could be several minutes different from noon in a town 100 miles away. For trains, this was unworkable. Standard time zones were established, dividing the world into regions that all used the same time. This was a practical solution to a practical problem, but it changed the way people related to time. Time became standardized, impersonal, dictated by distant authorities rather than local observation. Jet lag is a modern consequence of rapid travel across time zones. The body's internal clock, the circadian rhythm, is set by the local light-dark cycle. When you fly across several time zones, your body is still operating on the schedule of where you left. It takes several days for the internal clock to adjust to the new local time. During this adjustment period, you might feel tired during the day and alert at night. Your appetite might be off. Your concentration might suffer. This is jet lag, a mismatch between internal time and external time. It's a reminder that the body has its own sense of time, one that doesn't instantly adapt to new circumstances. Shift work creates a similar mismatch. People who work night shifts are awake when their body wants to sleep, and asleep when it wants to be awake. This constant battle against the circadian rhythm can have health consequences. Studies have shown that long-term shift workers have higher rates of certain diseases, likely because of the chronic disruption to their internal clocks. The body is designed to be awake during the day and asleep at night. Fighting this pattern is possible, but it comes at a cost. Light pollution, the excess artificial light from cities, also disrupts circadian rhythms. Natural darkness is important for the production of melatonin, the hormone that regulates sleep. When exposed to bright light at night, the body suppresses melatonin production, which can interfere with sleep. This is why looking at screens before bed can make it harder to fall asleep. The blue light from screens mimics daylight, tricking the brain into thinking it's still day. Some devices now have settings to reduce blue light in the evening, shifting the screen to warmer tones that are less disruptive. The moon's phases, once so important for marking time, are now mostly ignored in daily life. Electric lights mean we don't depend on moonlight to see at night. Calendars are based on the solar year, not the lunar month. Yet the moon still has effects. Ocean tides are caused by the gravitational pull of the moon, and to a lesser extent, the sun. When the moon is full or new, the sun, earth, and moon align, creating stronger tides called spring tides. When the moon is in its first or third quarter, the sun and moon are at right angles, creating weaker neap tides. This cycle repeats every month, a rhythm as old as the ocean itself. Some marine creatures time their reproduction to the tides. Certain species of coral release eggs and sperm simultaneously, creating vast underwater clouds of gametes. This synchronization increases the chances of fertilization. The trigger is often the full moon, a reliable signal that all members of the species can detect. Biological clocks extend beyond daily rhythms. Some animals migrate seasonally, traveling thousands of miles between breeding and feeding grounds. Arctic terns migrate from the Arctic to the Antarctic and back each year, a round trip of about 40,000 miles. They do this by sensing the changing length of days, which varies with the seasons. As days grow shorter in the Arctic autumn, the urge to migrate is triggered. The birds fly south, arriving in the Antarctic summer when days are long and food is abundant. Months later, they make the return journey. This pattern is driven by an internal calendar, a way of tracking the time of year. Hibernation is another response to seasonal time. Some animals, faced with cold winters and scarce food, enter a state of dormancy. Their body temperature drops, their metabolism slows, and they survive on stored fat. A hibernating bear's heart rate can drop from 40 beats per minute to as few as 8. The bear doesn't eat, drink, or excrete waste for months. This is an extreme energy-saving strategy, one that allows the animal to survive when survival would otherwise be impossible. When spring arrives and temperatures rise, the bear wakes, groggy and hungry, and resumes normal activity. The timing is crucial. Wake too early, and food might still be scarce. wake too late, and the opportunity to eat and prepare for the next winter is shortened. Plants also track time. Many flowering plants need a period of cold before they will bloom, a requirement called vernalization. This ensures that they don't flower too early in the season, only to be killed by a late frost. They count the weeks of winter, and only after accumulating enough cold days will they respond to the warming temperatures of spring by flowering. This internal counting mechanism is based on molecular changes within the plant's cells, a kind of biochemical memory of past weather. Trees show the passage of time in their growth, but they also respond to shorter cycles. Some trees, like the mimosa, fold their leaves at night and open them during the day. This movement continues even if the plant is kept in constant darkness, showing that it's driven by an internal clock, not just a response to light. The clock isn't perfect, though. In constant conditions, it drifts slightly, running a bit faster or slower than 24 hours. Daily light resets it, keeping it synchronized with the actual day. This is true for most circadian rhythms. They are internal, generated by the organism, but they are also flexible, adjusted by external cues to stay aligned with the environment. The ticking of a clock is a human invention, but it mimics something fundamental. The universe itself operates through regular processes. Atoms vibrate at specific frequencies. Planets orbit at predictable intervals. Radioactive elements decay at constant rates. These regularities make it possible to measure time, to compare one duration with another, to say that this event took twice as long as that one. Without such regularities, time would be formless, unmeasurable. We would still experience change, but we couldn't quantify it. Einstein's theory of relativity revealed that time is not absolute. It doesn't pass at the same rate everywhere. Time runs slower in strong gravitational fields and slower for objects moving at high speeds. These effects are tiny in everyday life, but they are real. Satellites in orbit experience time slightly faster than clocks on Earth's surface because they are in a weaker gravitational field. GPS systems have to account for this difference. If they didn't, the positioning would drift by several meters each day. The difference is only a few microseconds per day, but it adds up. This shows that time is not a fixed backdrop against which events occur. It's part of the fabric of the universe, woven together with space into what physicists call space-time. Near a black hole, where gravity is immensely strong, time dilation becomes extreme. An observer far from the black hole would see time pass very slowly for someone near the event horizon, the boundary beyond which nothing can escape. To the person near the horizon, their own time would feel normal. But if they looked out at the distant universe, they would see events unfolding rapidly. Time, as experienced, depends on where you are and how you're moving. There is no universal now, no single moment that is the present throughout the entire universe. This is deeply counterintuitive, but it has been confirmed by countless experiments. Despite these complexities, time has a direction. We remember the past, not the future. Eggs break, but don't spontaneously reassemble. Heat flows from hot objects to cold ones, not the reverse. This directionality is called the arrow of time, and it's related to a concept called entropy. Entropy is a measure of disorder, of how spread out and mixed up energy is in a system. The second law of thermodynamics states that entropy always increases in a closed system. Things naturally move from order to disorder, from concentrated to diffuse. This is why rooms get messy, why ice melts, why stars eventually burn out. It's not impossible for entropy to decrease locally. Order can increase if energy is added from outside, but overall, for the universe as a whole, entropy increases. This increase gives time its direction. The future is the direction in which entropy is higher. The early universe had very low entropy. All the matter and energy were concentrated and uniform, a hot, dense state with very little structure. As the universe expanded and cooled, structure formed. Galaxies, stars, planets, all represent local decreases in entropy, pockets of order in an otherwise expanding and dispersing universe. But the overall trend is toward disorder. Stars burn hydrogen and helium, producing heavier elements and radiating energy into space, increasing the total entropy. Eventually, all the stars will burn out, and the universe will be filled with cold, dark remnants. Entropy will be at a maximum, and no further change will be possible. Time's arrow will have reached its end point. But this is unimaginably far in the future, trillions upon trillions of years away. In the meantime, time continues to unfold in intricate and surprising ways. New stars are still forming. Life persists and evolves. The human story, tiny as it is on cosmic scales, continues to play out moment by moment. Each person lives within their own experience of time, shaped by biology, culture, memory, and anticipation. Time is both universal and deeply personal. It flows for everyone, but each of us navigates it differently. Moments accumulate into days, days into years, years into lifetimes. We mark these passages with rituals and reflections, trying to make sense of the flow. A child grows, becomes an adult, ages, and eventually dies, continuing a cycle that has repeated for billions of years. The specifics change, the names and faces, the technologies and cultures, but the underlying rhythm remains. Time moves forward, carrying everything with it. We cannot stop it or slow it down, no matter how much we might wish to. We can only experience it, navigate it as best we can, and try to make something meaningful within the span we're given. The present moment is all we truly have. The past is memory. The future is imagination. Both are real in their own ways, but neither is accessible in the way the present is. Right now, as you hear or read these words, time is passing. Seconds tick by. Somewhere, a star is born. Somewhere else, a mountain erodes a tiny fraction of a millimeter. Somewhere, a child takes their first breath. These events are all happening simultaneously, scattered across space, woven into the fabric of time. And yet, for all the vastness and complexity, time can also feel simple. The sun rises, the day unfolds, evening comes, night falls, sleep arrives, and with it, a kind of release from time's demands. The body rests, the mind drifts, and for a while, the passage of hours doesn't matter. Tomorrow will come, and time will resume its flow. But in the space of sleep, there is a pause, a quiet interlude where the weight of time is lifted. The stars continue their slow dance across the sky, following paths they have traced for eons. The moon waxes and wanes, pulling the tides. The earth turns, bringing daylight and darkness in endless rotation. These cycles are larger than any individual life, yet they touch every moment of existence. Time is the stage on which everything occurs, the dimension through which change moves. It is invisible, intangible, yet utterly fundamental. Without time, there would be no motion, no growth, no thought, no experience. Everything that is because time allows it to unfold. And as time unfolds, it carries with it the entire history of the universe, from the first moments after the Big Bang to this present instant, and onward into a future that remains unwritten. The story is still being told, moment by moment, breath by breath, heartbeat by heartbeat. Time flows on, indifferent and inexorable, and within its flow, existence continues.